Margo Martindale, three-time Emmy-winning Margo Martindale. You play Audrey, a formidable matriarch of a bail bond clan in Amazon Sneaky Pete. Formidable matriarch rings a bell for me. For some reason, I just have this feeling that you're really good at playing those kinds of characters. Was that one of the reasons why you were attracted to Audrey?
I was attracted to Audrey, honestly, because of the people involved and Bryan Cranston and David Shore actually called me and asked me if I'd be interested, and I read the script and I absolutely loved it. And then as a bonus, the guys from Justified came on, so it's been a perfect storm for me.
And having Graham Yost back on TV, I love his aesthetic, obviously, and you do as well. You won an Emmy for playing a role in one of his series, obviously. What's it like working with him again?
Well, it's an incredibly wonderful collaboration. It's not just Graham; it's all the other guys too, Fred and everybody else, and Michael Denner and the whole group. So it's they listen and they they can play, which makes it wildly fun and a real collaboration, which is great.
You know, what I love about Audrey is that obviously she's complicated. She's not just a caricature. When we first meet her, she's a sweet, lovely grandma. But by episode 2 and 3 and following, she's tough, man. She's tough as nails. I'd like to know what you think about her. What were you trying to bring out of this character after reading her on the page?
Well, on the page, I had no idea what the backstory was. And, I was sort of left to my own devices. So I might have, I talked to Graham about it a lot into episode 4. And what I'd come up with, he said, whoa, no. If that's your backstory, we have to go all the way back to the drawing board, because my backstory was way too psychotic. So, so honestly, what we found, which I think, and as I said to Graham, this is why you're the writer. He's so smart. He said that, I have great intuition and I come from, there's some shaky stuff in my past, but the fact that I am a mother of this family and I will do anything for my family, and things just snowballed. So I'm kind of an okay person that this happened to, because of trying to keep my family together.
And that's something that you can relate to, right? I mean, anyone can relate to being the mother or father of a family, trying to keep things together, trying to keep things working. So do you draw from personal experience when bringing that kind of feeling to this character?
Absolutely. It's great to be old because you have so much to draw from in life that, it's all available to you if you're a certain kind of person. That's what age does for you.
Yeah.
It's the availability of a world of things you've been through.
Is there anything in particular that you found different or special about working with Giovanni as the lead Sneaky Pete on the show?
Well, I tell you what, he's a dream to work with. He's a dream to be the #1 on the show. He is deeply committed and extreme. He cares about every part of this show. We all want it. It's a great group of people. It's a real family. We've been through a lot before we even started here with Amazon. So we stayed together over a year and a half before we started this, and it's really added to our family life and our history together. And Giovanni's the perfect person to lead us.
And to talk us through the Amazon aspect, working on a streaming service, does it make any difference at all in terms of how the show is made and how it is eventually seen by the public?
Well, I think it does make a difference in how it's made. It's a difference in how it's made in that they do have to make it edge of your seat. You want to watch, you want to come back and see it. And it takes a certain kind of writer to be able to do that, I think. And in acting in something like this, which I never have done, the thing that makes it so wildly different is that you're acting in the dark. So you see it when everybody else does. I don't know. I just hope and pray that the way I've arced it works, puts together, takes you to the end. It's incredibly exciting because it's alive, and because you don't know where you're going. You as an actor, which also makes it, I think, more exciting for the audience.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I never really quite thought of it that way, but when I was watching the show, I noticed that it wasn't such a slow burn. Things were happening, and I wanted to keep binging it. I didn't want to walk away, and that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really important, and you have time to make the story. They, some people do things fast. These writers they take their time, and it's because they're really skilled, and I really admire that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're working with another multiple Emmy-winning actor and now director, Bryan Cranston, who you mentioned earlier. He directed, I think, one episode of this season. What was it like working with him? What did he bring as such an esteemed actor to that side of the camera?
Well, I found him fantastic as a director. He knew exactly, as most actors who are directors, knew exactly what to give you, how to get you there. Of course, it helps, when somebody directs, that they really know the story, that they know how to get in and how to get to you and how to make you, how much to hold back, how much to go for it. He knew all of that, which made it, you just could trust everything he said.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking about Emmys, I know you probably get asked about the Emmys a lot, but we have to go there because we're Gold Derby, right? And you have 3 of them now, like 3 of these babies. That's insane. That's amazing. There aren't many people out there who can say they have won 3 Emmys. What do you think? Do you think about that often?
No, but but when it comes this time of year, I do.
Yeah, because then people remind you, they're like, "Hey, Margo, you won 3 Emmys." But
yeah, really? Bye. That's pretty good.
Wow. But can we go back to the first one? I haven't had the pleasure of speaking to you since you won for Justified. And I remember back then, you were quite astounded that you were able to pull that massive win off on primetime Emmy night. What is it? This is an obvious question, but I would love to hear it from you again. What has that done for your career? Because you've been around for a very long time. We all know you from so many projects, but now you're at a different level because of that win, don't you think?
It really escalated my career. It really changed things for me. Thank you, Graham Yost. It really opened the door to a new world of characters for me, which people really hadn't. I mean, maybe Clint Eastwood had seen a little bit of, but otherwise people really had kept me pretty safe. And I'm anything but safe. So it's been great to be able to pull this out of this is where I really, I mean, this is a crazy place of me. And this is what I kind of waited for all my life to be able to do, is to trust that my insanity and my imagination was something that I could bring to acting and not try to fit it in a box.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it gave you this extra level of people noticed you, knew who you were. You were winning Emmys for the Americans when the Americans wasn't quite really breaking through with Emmy voters yet. Thankfully, it did last year as well. Talk us through the first win for the Americans, because it was unexpected. Obviously, they really love that character. They love what you bring to that character.
It was so unexpected for me, both of them. And because you think of the season that you do, and you think of what you've done for that season. And I thought for that season, not so much. But people don't look at it that way, I don't think, because a lot of people are catching up all the time. So maybe they looked at the first season. And then, and that's where they were coming from. You never know where people are coming into a show. I understand that now. I think that's what it's about. And it's not about, it should be about this season, but it's usually about the show and where you've been on the show and where they are catching up to you on a show. So it's I love The Americans. It's been a great, wonderful ride, and it's a completely different part for me, because everything about that part is restraint, and I'm not. I don't have that in my personality. So it's a whole new. What's fun is that when I see it, I go, oh, that's what that does, and what kind of person that makes. It's fun to see what you paint in your head.
Yeah, but you've got some increased screen time this season. You've been in quite a few episodes. The one that I just saw, which is one that just aired, you're in it a little as well, as their handler now that Gabriel has left and gone back to Russia. So how were you able to fit in more episodes? Talk us through that process and why you're back in the show more.
Because they asked me to be.
And you just go.
Well, I when The Millers was canceled, which is what took me away from the Americans as much as it did, I called them immediately and said, I'm available. And it for them to, because they'd been writing, they weren't expecting that. So now it's fun, and we're being able to go forward. I watched that last night, and it was, it was like, I thought I saw that Claudia was softening up a bit. I don't know.
What's happening there?
I mean, I was kind of surprised by it, and I thought maybe too soft. I don't know. It's acting is a weird thing. It's fun to see what you've thrown out there.
Yeah, it's the nuances that we're now trying to hold on to see what the hell is happening, what's going to happen.
Always, you're trying to do everything that's asked of you, but you also are a person and a vessel that's different from other people. So it's fun to see how it comes out, and how if I didn't know what was going on, how I would read it.
Yeah, there you go. That's interesting. Now you're on the supporting ballot for that show as well, now that you have more episodes. And if there's no Russian interference in the Emmy process by Russian hackers, who knows how you're going to get nominated? You could be all over the Emmy ballot this season. What do you think about that?
Oh, what do I think of it? I think that's absurd, and I think it would be insanely fun.
It would be. It would definitely be.
Oh, that's all I can say.
That's all you can say.
Absolutely not. Would it be fun? Wildly fun.
Do you think it's really odd and strange how timely The Americans has become? This is a period show about the 80s, about the Cold War, but there isn't a show that is probably more relevant to what's going on in politics right now.
Yeah, I think it's wild and unexpected. And they're writing what they were going to write anyway, because they're writing in a time frame that happened years ago. So it's just, it holds a mirror up to what's going on now, doesn't it? Wow.
It sure does.
Yeah.
And going back to Sneaky Pete, I can't recall whether there's been a second season. Do you know if that's happening and whether that's been locked in?
We are starting right now.
Just starting right now. How exciting.
We're starting. I got the first script today.
Oh, really? And what was your reaction? Because we've left off in a place where I'm thinking anything could really happen now. There's so many questions. There's so many competing storylines. What was your reaction when you opened the script?
Yay, it's here. I just want to see where we are and where we're going. And we'll do it one script at a time. It's fun because it is a really, it's actually a really fun show.
Yeah.
It's, it's greatly entertaining.
Yeah, it looks like you guys are having a ball.
We are.
Margo, thank you once again for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm so sorry it took us all so long.
No problem.
Thanks a lot.